Vikings. My name is Karen Davino. I am the superintendent of schools, and we are here for a special edition podcast at the high school. The first thing that we were able to do, myself and my colleagues, is we can actually remove our masks because we are outside and 6 feet apart. And just for the lay of the land, we are out in the back of the cafeteria, our beautiful grounds here at Vernon Township High School. This is where some of our high school students have the privilege of eating lunch outdoors under some beautiful tents, and we've got a gorgeous day today. So with me today, of course, is Dr. Anderson, the principal of Vernon Township High School, Ray Lochran, who's one of our guidance counselors here at the high school, Cassandra Aristizabal, who's one of our case managers, and Dr. McKay, of course, who is the assistant superintendent of schools. We're here today for a really important announcement, two important announcements actually. One right off the presses that nobody even knows about yet. But the first one we're going to talk about, we've talked about a little bit, and we're going to talk to you today about the healing-centered engagement approach, which is a new approach that the Vernon Township High School and key stakeholders will be working on for next school year, starting in September. But as you know, we are planning now for things that are happening in September. So Dr. Anderson, why don't you talk a little bit about how Vernon Township High School is going to embark on this wonderful journey. It's really exciting.
Sure. In January of this year, we were invited to attend a workshop that would talk about this healing-centered engagement to address ACEs and trauma. And then we were invited as a school district to sign up or apply for an opportunity to be one of the pilot schools, and we were selected. So out of many schools that asked to participate, we are one of the 26 schools that were selected across the state of New Jersey, one of only 2 high schools, and the only school in Sussex County. So we're very proud and delighted to begin this process.
Congratulations.
Over the next few weeks. Just to explain, the ACEs are stressful or traumatic events that affect child's brain development and that inhibit children's ability to learn or develop skills, create healthy habits, or form relationships. As part of the application process, we had to partner with 2 community organizations. So we partnered with Vernon PAL and the Vernon Coalition, and also to select one of the pre-existing organizations within the school. So we are working with Mrs. Van Orden and the INRS team so that we will be able to implement all of this program. We also were asked to select 2 trusted ambassadors, and we brought our trusted ambassadors here, and Mr. Lochran and this, I'm never going to say your name. Aristizabal. And we are delighted that we are just starting this journey. Actually, at the end of this week, we are going to have early dismissals schedules for this Friday, next Monday, and then May 24th.
And that's for the high school only, because this goes out to the whole community.
Only. That's correct.
But we want you to know about it because it's super important, and when you roll out a project of this magnitude, part of the agreement, right, with the organization is that we have to have a very heavy professional development, including our ambassadors as well as our stakeholders. So that's the purpose for the training.
Correct. And so our trusted ambassadors have already gone through 2 full days of training, and now we will be having our entire staff, including our custodial staff, our secretaries, our Sodexo folks, our bus drivers, et cetera, et cetera. And parents have received all of that information about the 3 sessions through a few of the letters that I have sent out recently about the early dismissals, and they're invited also through this flyer to be able to sign up and learn exactly what we are learning on during 3 different evening programs.
And we'll make sure that we share that with the community so they're aware. Thank you for sharing that.
So we're very excited to begin this process, because we feel during these challenging times that this is very, very poignant for us to be able to speak together as a community and to work together for the good of all of our students, our staff, and the entire community.
For sure. Did we want to hear from our ambassadors about perhaps some of the training you've undergone already, or maybe key takeaways of the program and how we'll see it affecting our students for the fall?
That would be great.
Yeah, so I'd like to talk about the goals that we have for the training, and the staff goals are recognizing how trauma can impact student behavior and learning, because it really does impact the brain, and it's important for us to understand. To learn what a trauma-sensitive school is and what the components are of a trauma-sensitive school, and to begin to consider to apply how trauma-informed practices would work in our school. Like, what does that look like for our school? And also, it's really important that we attend to the needs of the adults in our building, because you can't pour from an empty cup. I know everyone's heard that, but it really is so important. So we want to focus on how we can support all the adults in the building too.
Mr. Loughran?
And then, of course, there's goals after the training,
Right.
which I think the main goal is so that everyone can kind of work as one organism in the school and view student behavior through a single lens. And I think that this training really is something that's going to help folks do that. Another part of it is really the supporting of all children to feel safe physically, socially, emotionally, and academically, especially like we had stated during this time.
Yeah.
And the focus on relationship building and self-regulation among staff and students.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm going to ask Dr. McKay to talk a little bit, because while we're on the topic of social emotional learning, many people in the community know and at the state level know that social emotional learning is hot on the desk of the governor, the commissioner, and the regulation that you just mentioned, Ray, is so important. Even in walking through in our elementary schools, we're noticing for folks at home, we've only been back to school for 2 weeks, right? April 12th, we came back in our Spring Forward plan, and we've noticed that children are really highly activated right now, right? Because some children having a whole year of being home have had a different schedule, right, than they have at school. So when children are here in school, they have a regular schedule. Parents do a wonderful job of creating structure and teaching valuable lessons. And then at school, we reinforce those behaviors and those practices. And when we get out of those practices, right, children get highly activated sometimes, and they have a really difficult time regulating those behaviors. And we're seeing that at the elementary level too. So,
Absolutely.
Dr. McKay, do you want to talk a little bit maybe about some of the summer program and how this hinges on SEL?
What we're seeing in all of our schools is with the students returning and the population growing, that some of the issues that were always in place have shown up again. And the children are very happy. You said they're very active. It's absolutely true, Ms. Davino. But I think the idea of what we're talking about here, about a trauma-sensitive school, is something that's essential for all of us to realize what we've been through for the past 18 months.
Yeah.
Right? And our children feel it. Our teachers feel it. You were talking about the adults, Cassandra,
Right,
as well as the students. And we're seeing it on all levels. So our concern is, in the summertime, of keeping good things going.
Yes.
So what we're going to try to do is have some programs in the summertime through grant money from the federal government in order to make sure that our students are cared for, so that they're accelerating into the new school year, so the Spring Forward continues from one segment to another, so we get this sense that everybody's on the same page. Orientations in the beginning of the year are essential. Our folks know how to do that. They've done that before. So all of these things that we're trying to put together, but this program's outstanding. This is really great. Congratulations to the three of you and to the entire staff at the high school. One of only 2 schools. Great job, Dr. Anderson. So we're seeing all of these good things through the leadership in our district, and we're very happy that all this is going on. Tell me just a little bit about the trauma-sensitive label for a school. Does that mean everyone that's involved in the child's life is aware of what some of these things can manifest themselves?
Well, I think that's like the purpose, is to get everyone on the same page,
Right.
just so that everyone is aware of how trauma can impact and how to respond to that. And we're not asking for people to do additional work. That's
No.
not what this is. This isn't an additional curriculum, but it's more of like shifting the perspective,
Right.
so that, you know, if a student isn't giving you a hard time, they're having a hard time.
Right.
So it's just coming at it from a different lens.
Ray, is that difficult, do you think, for our staff? Or you think
I think it'll be helpful because if anyone was unsure before this training, at least now they have a direction of what to do when they experience or run into any of these problems.
And when they see these problems, what would they do? Do they then go to our team to start to discuss them about our students?
Well, the purpose of the training is to kind of help them give like the tools so that they can manage it
Good.
themselves.
Good.
And then if needed, of course, you know, there are plenty of
Right.
people there to support, but really it's so that, you know, they can have those relationships with the students, and they feel like they can talk to them, and the students feel comfortable, you know, engaging in conversation and asking for assistance.
I think that's the greatest thing. Dr. Anderson, I think you know this. They're going to go to the teacher that they love.
That's exactly
course.
right.
Right. And that person is the one who's now trained.
That's
Correct.
exactly right.
Actually, it's everybody's trained, right? So the benefit
Yes.
is that consistent approach, right? Consistent language, consistent response, consistent support, and that helps elevate the entire student body and the faculty, right? Because it's like taking, putting our arms around the student body and our faculty and making sure that they're all supported so that they can continue to learn and grow through. We're still in a pandemic, right? We're outside, we're socially distanced. We don't know what September looks like yet. So this program is right on the money, and I'm really, really excited about it for the high school and for all of you. Great work.
So there'll be 3 sessions. The first 2 sessions will be 2 hours of training. The third session will be 1 hour of training, and then 1 hour of us developing how the mission statement will work. How will this work at Vernon Township High School? Knowing what our students need, knowing what our community needs, and then how that kind of marries what we've just learned. So we will be breaking people into smaller groups, and we've been working with a coach, Susan Coyle, who is a trauma-informed instructor and a professor at Kane University. And she's been wonderful thus far and will be working with us along the entire journey. So we're very excited to make this an integral part of the high school without, as we said at the beginning, adding any more work on anybody's plate at this point. So we're excited.
And speaking of the high school, we got another super exciting thing that happened today, right? So Dr. Anderson, what happened? I'm going to ask you. You're the principal, so
I'm not going to remember the number.
You don't have to remember the number. Tell us what happened.
We are now, we were the top 40% of the New Jersey high schools.
Yeah, through U.S. News and World Report.
U.S. News and World Report. So we got it. I have to be honest with you, I did not read the entire thing. We were preparing for this. We did just get it this afternoon.
It's considered, we're considered one of the best high schools in New Jersey, and you can use the best high school label on all of our information that goes out to families. So for the children at Glen Meadow, if you're coming up here next year, you'll be at one of the best high schools in New Jersey, which is wonderful. We're going to put it everywhere because it's really important.
Absolutely.
And it actually ranks us amongst high schools in the nation as well. So it's a huge accolade for the high school. Dr. McKay?
Congratulations to everyone at the high school. Congratulations to all of our teachers for this great accolade. This is really what we've been talking about for years, how great this place is and how good our teachers are and how great our students are. So congratulations to everyone in Vernon. This is a real accomplishment, and congratulations to this team. This is really something. I look forward to seeing as we progress how it works out for our staff.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, Cassandra, Ray, Dr. Anderson, thank you very much.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Tabino,
Thank you.
there's great things happening here.
Yep.
And thank you to our families for always supporting everything, all of our initiatives.